And good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to the Upstate Hoops podcast on FingerLakes1.tv. I'm Jim Sinacropi alongside Matt Verkey, a man who holds a Section 5 single-game sectional scoring record with 57 in a game in 1992. 2 games are in the books after Saturday night's doubleheader at NYCC in Seneca Falls, and tonight we'll be joined by one of the coaches involved in the Tip-Off Classic. Lyons coach Zac Young will join us in studio to talk about his season opener and help us preview the Wayne County League. The Upstate Hoops podcast is brought to you by Generations Bank with locations in Auburn, Farmington, Geneva Phelps, Seneca Falls, Union Springs, and Waterloo. Check out their mobile banking app and visit them online at mygenbank.com. And by Dr. Rod Littlejohn, over 30 years of smiles with style. And by Red's Place, the best lunches around are in downtown Seneca Falls. Check out the menu at men'shalloffame.com. Welcome back, Verk.
How's it going, Jim?
We got some games to talk about this week. The 2 games in NYCC, a couple of blowout wins for Lyons and Mynderse, and big nights for some big-time seniors, Damon Hunter and Liam Carher.
Yeah, obviously a good weekend open up at the college. These guys got to play in a big court. I think it would have been nice if we saw the Mynderse Lions match up and had South Seneca, Southern Cayuga play each other. But 2 blowout wins and good way to kick off the season for Lions and Mynderse.
And who better to talk about it than a guy who coached in the first game? Zach, welcome back to the studio.
How you doing, guys?
Good to have you back. Congratulations on the opening win.
Thank you.
It was your team certainly looked impressive, and I didn't know that you had a 6'7" guy on your team from Newark that really kind of is rounding out the squad. Jordan Amel, did I say that? It's Amel, right?
Amel, yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he played all right for his first varsity game. He came to Lyons during the middle of last year, so he was on our JV team about the last 9 games, and did a nice job for the JV team and played with us all summer. And he did get called up for varsity. I think he saw about 3 minutes in our quarterfinal game because we had so many injuries at the end of last year.
Yep.
So, but yeah, he 6'7", and he's got a nice touch, good footwork, and he's helping us out for sure.
That's the thing, Verk, is he's 6'7", but he's pretty good on his feet. He stepped out and hit a 3 from the top of the key in the game on Saturday night at NYCC. And we knew everything that Lyons had coming in, and that was kind of an unknown that they can put in the middle there, and I think that rounds out a real nice Lyons team this year. It was 72-33, not much of a contest from the start. I think, Zach, what'd you get up, like 28 to 2 or something like that?
I don't know. I tried not to look. It was just try to play the next possession. And
it was great to see Damon Hunter have a great game in his senior campaign, and he was getting into the lane at will against those guards. But Southern Cayuga had a big guy in Justin Snyder, who was also 6'6", 6'7", and Hunter took it right to him a couple times, was able to score over him. I was really impressed with Damon Hunter. Are you excited about his senior campaign?
Yeah, definitely. He's an exciting player to watch. He's fun to watch when he's playing the game the right way, and he certainly played fantastic last night. And our last 2 scrimmages up to that, he's played really well, and hopefully he has a good year. But Damon makes us go. Tippy, I'm going to call him because that's what everybody calls him.
All right,
Tippy's
we'll
his
start
nickname.
using that.
He makes us go. He like you said, when he gets into the lane, he just understands the game when he distributes, and he makes other players better when he's on his A game.
And of course, he was sectional MVP in his sophomore campaign. Missed last year's postseason with an injury, and now back for his senior year, and off to a real good start. Verk, what do you think about Lyons this year? They got a shot at, is it C1 or C2?
C3.
So C3?
C3, yeah. We're in the lower one this year.
Yeah, I think they have a good shot. You bring in you got a player like Damon Hunter. He's been there before. As a sophomore, we kind of saw him grow up. We at Clyde, he had kind of had, as a sophomore, he had a big game. You start there, and they got some nice pieces around them. They're C3 this year, which might be a little bit easier of a bracket for them. Just looking at the schools, obviously the teams are a little bit smaller and stuff like that, school-wise, numbers-wise, and stuff like that. But Damon Hunter's probably one of the best players that we'll see all year in the Wayne Finger Lakes, Finger Lakes West. So it's a good place to start, and it's a senior year. He's mature, and looking forward to a big year from him.
And we those two games on Saturday night tip off the season were at New York's Chiropractic College. Rhett Taccone, the health and fitness director over there, put together a great event. And what was it like? Was that an event you'll go back and play again?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if we get the additional games like we're talking about. That we kind of New York State approved the 19th game late in the season, and Nick had contacted me about potentially playing a game there, and I know Rhett. So we signed up. It was nice. The locker rooms were really big. It's a lot different than if you've ever been to the Atwood gym. It's kind of like it's a great place to play, but some of the locker room and all that stuff, it's just different than here. They had the kids' names laminated in the locker room.
Nice touch.
And they did our manager Gino, which was also pretty cool. He thought that was pretty neat.
I bet.
Water, Gatorade in there, T-shirt on the way out, and really all we have to pay for was the one referee. So that's a pretty good deal on my end for sure. And
it was also just a nice atmosphere in the gym. He had the lights away from the court darkened, and so it kind of had like a forum, LA Forum type of feel to it, I thought. A lot of blue draping. And, of course, we did the webcast. We webcast those two games. We about 248 live viewers on the night, which was pretty good opener for us. And Rhett was super accommodating for us. It enabled us to do a great webcast, although I do got to apologize to our viewers. The first half of the Lions game, we had no audio from our broadcasters, so that was a rough start to our season, Verk, but
we'll get it right.
Yeah, in the end, it came out okay. So speaking of our webcast, we're coming to the Atwood this year, Zach, and we can't wait to get inside there. I think, Verk, that you and Barnick have the call on that first game, Lyons-Clyde.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I grew up in that gym with my dad coaching there, and I've seen hundreds of games there probably over the course of my lifetime. So, I think it's a great home gym, a nice home court advantage. I like it to. I love Mynderse home court just with the bleachers on one side, and when you pack the place, it gets really loud. And I like those old gyms. And, it should be nice to get in there, and especially for a Lyons-Clyde battle, and do a game from the Atwood gym.
Now, second game of the night on Saturday night featured Mynderse and South Seneca. South Seneca comes to the game out of the FL West, only 7 guys. Their one of their top players, the great emancipator, Lincoln Lowe, was sat out the game, but he'll be back next game. And Dan Lent's squad was a little bit overmatched, although I like what they had going into the West. And I think if they get Lowe back, that they'll be competitive in that league. But Mynderse came out on fire. And, Liam Carher, 25 points. Devin Verkey, 17 points. And Nick Ciotti's team was making everything, which as Syracuse fans, Verk, we watched them go, 2 for 28 in the past 2 games from 3, and you watch these high school kids, these sophomores like Devin, just drain them, and Cooney can't hit the rim.
Yeah, Mynderse, if they're a little. The inside game was the unknown this year, but we knew they had some kids coming back who could score the ball. Devin can shoot it. Liam's been on the varsity for 3 years. This is Devin's second year. Jake Jones as a sophomore came in and his first varsity game, hit some threes. I think he ended up with 10 points, a couple assists. Obviously, the book on Mynderse is going to be, especially after seeing game one, is you got to make them throw the ball inside a little bit and obviously guard the 3-point line. They hit 14 threes, I believe. So obviously teams are going to be moving out on them, and obviously things are going to get more difficult as the season goes on for them. But a great start to the season. Nice to see. Liam's a kid who, when he gets confidence, he seems to go to a next level. He hit a couple shots early, and hopefully this just carries on to the next game and the rest of the season for him.
And it wasn't even just the guard play and Devin's play at forward, but Ben Cafola played good inside. In the second half, I liked what Bachman was doing in there. Big kid that if he can see some time, can cause some fits for some interior players. And, off to a good start for Mynderse, 1-0. South Seneca, I was impressed with Eric Dresser. And like I say, you bring Lincoln Lowe back with him. John Drew, their point guard, a little guy who I was pretty impressed with. I thought he played pretty good given the circumstances, but they only had 7 guys, a little undermatched. Now, Zach, what's your take on Mynderse this year? I think you guys should have been playing Mynderse on Saturday night, and Southern Cayuga should have been playing South Seneca, and we would have probably had 2 better games instead of the 2 blowouts that we had. That
would have been nice. That's all I'll say about that. Mynderse is we scrimmaged them, and I think they'll be okay getting the ball up first pressure. It's like you said, they're big guys. They actually rebounded with us pretty well. They missed a ton of layups in our scrimmage. And defensively, we were able to score, not at ease, but we won more of the quarters, I would say, versus them. But they're young in a lot of spots.
Sure.
So coming in, especially into our gym it was our first scrimmage. Our kids were pretty excited about it, and they're gonna have to sling it though. I mean, I don't know how many they're gonna have to. They can knock people off. They're a scary. They're a scary team. Because Verke can get it off in about a millisecond, and Liam can shoot it, and they all have the green light. It seems like
Brett Anderson made the first one of the game from the top of the key.
Yeah. So I think I think they'll be able to compete in the East for sure.
Yeah, Verk, what do you think? I mean, let me tell you, the thing I'm most impressed with after watching Mynderse play was the way Liam Kerr handled himself. He was, he was on fire, and you didn't see any of the three in the head or any of that type of stuff. He was intense on defense, hustled every second he was out there, and a great team atmosphere on the whole team. Devin and Liam and Jake Jones, sophomore, like you say, they're young, so Liam's got to be that senior leader. And from what I saw, he was playing the part.
Yeah, they're extremely young. They got 5 sophomores up, but 2 of those sophomores played as freshmen last year, and Anderson and Verke. Liam's, one of the few seniors who's going to see a lot of time this year. And, it's I'm interested to see how they do. Obviously I pull for Mynderse, obviously being a graduate from there. And, it's when things are going well, I guess it's easy you got that team chemistry and everything like that, but I want to see how they play when they face a little bit of adversity and, how the team comes together. And, once we get in the Finger Lakes East, obviously we'll see some tougher competition. And, I think every time they step on the court this year, they're going to have a chance to win. The Finger Lakes East is just going to be, we've talked about a little bit, just very balanced. There's no, Geneva's not loaded like they were last year. Newark's down. It's just a big mix of teams in there. And I have, 1 through 5. I think you can pull out of a hat right now.
Yeah. So let's move ahead and, we got Zach in here, take a look at the Wayne County League. We know about your team, Zach. We know about Lyons. I think that Verk and I would both concede that you're the preseason favorite in Wayne County. Tell us about some of the other teams, though, that are in your way in that league this year.
I think our league is as good as it's been since maybe my first 2 years coaching. I think North Rose-Wolcott, I know that you're doing one of their games this year, I think at Waterloo.
Yep.
It's going to be very good. They have Stevenson Boys, a forward. He made all-tournament team in Class B last year. They have a sophomore guard who is an exciting player to watch, not to coach against. Tyler Norris,
yes,
he's very good. He for a freshman last year, was very composed, and he didn't look like a freshman when he was out there. So they have him. They have 4 returning starters back. I know Chris Dean is, he was a great player, and he's went on. I think he's playing at Wells College, but they have 4 returning starters back. I mean, they gave Clyde a great game at Clyde last year. Maybe potentially should have won that game, and I think they're. I know you guys are saying we're the favorite, but they're a very good team. Sodas has some good athletes. Andrew Hines, another boy from their JV team, I can't remember, was a fantastic athlete last year. And then Ron Derek Morris transfers there.
From Newark,
Newark, who's a pretty good player.
And has a great name.
Yeah, so they'll be good. Gananda's got a couple kids back. This Lopez and Doway from last year. And, they lost a lot of their guard play, so I think if their guards can contribute, they'll be tough. ER's JV team was loaded last year. I think they lost one game. So, right there, I just knocked off 5. Clyde's not going to be a slouch. Mike Turner is.
Turner,
he's a difference maker.
He's a beast.
And he had a great football season this year, too. I'm assuming he's going to improve, and they have a really exciting freshman guard, the Chance boy. He's very good. He had a great football season for them as well. So I think in our league, you got to bring it every night. There's not going to be. And I didn't even talk about Red Creek with Slobe.
Oh yeah, Jake Slobe, baby, you can't forget Red Creek. Now you think there's enough guys around Jake Slobe in his senior year this year that he's going to be able to make a run at the Wayne County title? It's tough as a coach. You don't want to say no, they don't have a chance. But they
didn't lose a lot from last year, and they got most of their team back, and they have good team chemistry. And Slobe is only getting. I know the kid. He works hard.
Right.
I'm sure he's improved on aspects of his game.
That's scary.
But yeah, you're definitely going to key on him. So that you're going to try to make the other guys beat you. Just like what a lot of people are going to try to do with us, and what you always try to do that. You try to take away the team's best player. But that right there is 6 teams who I think on a given night could beat each other, So it's going to be a good competitive league. It's actually more fun I know it's nice to win, but it's more fun for the kids and for the fans when every game is competitive. Hopefully I just think the league's going to be good. It's going to make the team stronger for when we get to sectionals.
Sure.
When everybody's good and they're closer games, it helps us out. And hopefully, a couple of us can make a run.
Well, let me ask you this. Wayne County Finger Lakes East Challenge. They play each other, everybody one-on-one from top to the bottom. You guys would play Newark like you did a couple years ago. It'd be awesome. And then maybe you'd have Clyde against Mynderse and Palmac against Penyan, whatever it would be. How do you think Wayne County fares this year?
I think they'd hang. I don't think it would be... the last couple of years, I don't know if it would be as competitive, but I think the top of our league is pretty strong. It's pretty strong compared to, like I said, the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting on both ends. I think the East has a lot of younger teams, a lot of inexperience, and I think Wayne County has, arguably 2 of our top. I know we have, Slobe was a first-teamer, Hunter was a first-teamer, Stevenson was a second-teamer. Lopez kid from Gananda, I believe, made second team. So we have some of our better players coming back, whereas the East, it seems like almost the majority of their first teamers are graduated and playing other places.
Verk, who do you think can challenge Lyons in Wayne County?
I agree with everything you said. I don't get to see a lot of the Wayne County teams. I do remember last year, North Rose almost beating Clyde when Clyde was pretty loaded last year. Obviously we had Jacob Sloban here, Red Creek. If he gets hot, you never know with them. ER is always seems like they're pretty tough. And they, 15-5 every year or whatever they go. It should be a great battle in Wayne County. Clyde, like you said, Michael Turner, he's super athletic, and and you throw in Fanil and Chance and some of these guys, and they're going to put 5 athletes out on the floor that are going to compete hard. So it should be a fun year, but it should be a great battle.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I tell my team all the time is we have some good players, but we need our role players. We have the Deion Tarver, DeAndre McDonald, Adam Van Buskirk. If we can get 1 or 2 of those guys, Chris PA step up, and we have a lot of depth, which I haven't had. Obviously last year we were down to about 6 guys there for the last couple games.
Yeah.
So this year I feel like we have 12, 13 guys that can play.
Should mention Tarver too. He had 6 steals.
Yeah, Deion played good last night for sure. Josh Desane comes in off the bench, bangs 2 threes. So we have, if those role players for us can continue to grow, and Jordan gets a little better as the year goes on, then we could be a team that could hopefully take the title. Be nice to get it back. So
one last comment on the other night. Third quarter action, Damon gets elbowed in the face after a rebound. And, in the past, you may have just seen him go crazy, but he kind of walked away. Dion Tarver came over, talked to him, took him off to the side, and it seemed like the situation was diffused. And so it's good to see Damon maturing. It's good to see that his teammates, a teammate like Dion, will come over there and be aware of the situation. And I just, it was a blowout game, so you're looking at something to take from it. And I just thought that the way that whole situation went down after they didn't even call a foul. As you mentioned, it was a violation. Yeah. You watch the replay, and that's the type of thing that in college now that you get ejected for.
Yeah.
And so it was questionable officiating on that particular call.
I didn't watch the whole game on the web. I did watch that part today because I wanted to see it while I was getting my own DVD ready. And I don't think the kid intentionally wanted to take Damon out, but he did swing his elbow in a reckless manner.
Maybe
it hit him right in the mouth.
Yeah.
It hit him right in the mouth. So, to not call anything was tough pill to swallow. But in that type of case, you just try to preach to the kids, we're up 25. You have nothing to gain there by getting in the kid's face. It doesn't even matter if it's a tie game, if they don't give it to you. You get a technical, you get a technical. I know they called it double technical. I'm not really sure why. After a no call on a foul. But yeah, it was nice. He didn't get up and shove the kid, and
right.
A couple of our other players came in, and Dion's had some issues with referees in the past too. So hopefully he's learned from them, and we can use that going forward when we're in a little more hostile environment.
Well, we're going to step aside now for 60 seconds, and we come back. We're going to give you our power rankings, which this year they're a little different. We're going to combine them into one, top 10 power rankings for the Wayne Finger Lakes teams. We'll take a look at the week ahead in Wayne Finger Lakes as every team gets in action, so we'll be right back.
Guidance and partnership through every step of the journey. Welcome to Generations Bank.
Good luck to all of our student athletes this high school sports season.
And welcome back to the Upstate Hoops Podcast on FingerLakes1.tv and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to FingerLakes1.com on YouTube. You'll get every episode of the Upstate Hoops Podcast, and you'll also get all of our live webcasts of games and all our other programming right in your feed. You'll never miss a game or an episode. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher.com. You can take us on the road, plug us into your car. It should be, you shouldn't miss an episode. You have no excuse if you miss an episode. So Verk, power rankings going from 5 to 10. We're going to take the top 10 and almost like an AP poll. Every week we're going to reveal it, and we're only using Wayne Finger Lakes teams, as we do. That's who we cover. So we got the Finger Lakes East, West, and Wayne County. Top 10. It's a collaborative effort between ourselves and the rest of the Finger Lakes 1 sports team. And let's start it off at 10. We got Sodus out of Wayne County. Ron Derek Morris coming over from Newark to Sodus, which I think is originally his hometown.
Yeah, he grew up there.
Yeah. So that's enough to push them into the top 10 initially. And as we were talking about earlier, the Wayne County League's really going to be something. Then we go to 9, Bloomfield out of the West, always one of the stronger teams in the West, and in their class, they always seem to make a good run. Great program. Then at 8, we got Dundee, also out of the West. Cole Hartman and company. Coach Les Miller's got a physical bunch, and I'm going to actually, Verk, see if we can get Coach Miller next week to help us preview the West, and we learn a little bit more about the West teams. But Dundee Scott's coming in at 8. They got a game with Penn Yan this year, which should be fun. 7, North Rose-Wolcott, coming out of Wayne County. They lost Chris Dean, but I'm telling you, Tyler Norris, as Coach Young was talking about, is legit. Other than Hunter, he may be the best guard in Wayne County. 6, we got Mynderse I know they looked unbelievable on Saturday night, but they were playing a short-manned South Seneca Falcon team, and they did what they were supposed to do. Great shooting. It'll be interesting to see how they come up against Waterloo next Friday night. Not next Friday night, 2 Fridays from now. Mynderse Waterloo.
13th or the 12th December, whatever that Friday is.
Yeah, it's not next Friday, but the one after. But Waterloo I got at 5, so that'll decide that.
Yeah, and that should be 2 good games. That's the girls and then the boys, and typically Waterloo girls have blown Mynderse girls out, and then the Mynderse boys will blow Waterloo boys out. But I think this year they're both going to be competitive games, and it should be a packed house, and it'll be fun to do those games.
So as I mentioned, Waterloo at 5. The year of Ben Deming emerging. Number 4, Palmac, basing this off a lot of feedback that we're hearing from coaches. You got Palmac on the schedule this year?
We do, yeah. We're playing a non-leaguer over there, which used to be a pretty heated Wayne County rivalry.
Sure.
So we haven't played them in a long time. We're going over there for a non-leaguer.
So what do you think about the Red Raiders this year? Do we have them placed well at 4?
Sure, yeah. That power rankings are for you guys. They're pretty good. Dan Harris is well coached. He's a good coach, and they have a lot of really good athletic guards that can play really good defense, and they run their stuff. They're traditionally pretty good. I know they lost a first teamer last year. They had a big kid, but they bring a lot of other guys back. So I think they'll be tough.
Yeah, they lost the Wager kid. I'm not sure how you said it, and he didn't play that well. We did them at Mynderse last year, and Mynderse struggled with him, and he really didn't play that great. So they bring back a bunch of guards, like Coach Young said, and I look for big things from Palmac this year.
And that leads us to the top 3. We got Penn Yan at 3. Based on the progression of those kids moving up, this is the year that they're supposedly, come together and have a great season. So we got the Mustangs at 3. And then we had a little discussion about 2 and 1. I got Newark at 2. And we got Newark at 2, and then Lyons at 1 in the power ranking. A Wayne County team at top power rankings. Clyde was there a little bit last year. It's tough. I mean, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Newark. Tyler Collins. You look at good guards this year, guys like point guards like Damon Hunter and Norris. And Tyler Collins, it's tough to choose which one you'd want for your team.
We were always impressed with Tyler Collins last year, and just his demeanor on the court. He's if nothing else, he seems like a great leader. He never really changes his expression too much, and obviously losing Derek Morris is a huge loss for them, and their JV team was pretty good, so they're going to have some kids step up this year. They're not as talented as they've been over the past 3 or 4 years with all those guys that they've had.
Yeah, they lose Micah Wright. They lose Jamie Rosser.
They lose Derek Morris.
And
they've had some big losses, obviously. But, the Newark's always seems to be at the top of the league, and, we look for kind of similar results again this year.
I know they have a 6'7" freshman playing up. And
lose a 6'7" guy, gain a 6'7" guy.
Yeah, they're hoping for big things for him for sure. I was talking with their JV coach at a conference, and he said, if he can help us down low, he thinks they're going to have a good year.
So there you have it. There's our power rankings. Next Sunday night we'll give you a new one. We'll actually have more to base it on, more play on the court. We got to see Mynderse and Lyons and South Seneca play this Saturday night. This next Saturday, Finger Lakes 1 Sports will be in Victor for a triple header. Geneva versus Wilson, Newark versus Livonia, and Palmac versus Victor. 3 games, appointment viewing starting at 3 o'clock, second game at 5, third game at 7. And, Verk, it's an exciting opportunity to get a look at 3 Finger Lakes East teams in one venue, in one gym, in one evening.
Yeah, those should all be great games. You got a couple city schools in there mixed in with some Finger Lakes East teams, and Livonia always seems to have a strong program. So those should be 3 exciting games, and get to catch some 3 or 4 Finger Lakes East teams in one day.
So also next week, let's run down the schedule. Monday we have Marcus Whitman taking on South Seneca. And you know what? Whitman's in the East this year. Is that?
They're in the West.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Okay, yeah. I guess this must be a typo here. Tuesday, we got Northeast Prep against Geneva, playing at Geneva. That'll be Geneva's one game before.
Is that a rematch of the semis from last year?
I think it was the semis, because in the finals.
It's a great game. Yeah, finals they lost to Batavia. Or they beat Batavia, excuse me. Sorry,
Right.
Coach Miller.
After Batavia beat Newark, we were kind of looking at it, maybe a Newark-Geneva final, which would have really been something. Then you got Tuesday night as well, Dundee at Bloomfield, an early West battle that could eventually determine the winner of that league. Honeoye at HAC, Romulus at Naples, and Rochester Academy CS at East Rochester. Who is this team?
You know, this is one of those teams that Rochester creates. They have about 4 new ones this year. They're in our sectional class. I'm going up to the game, actually, just because I want to check them out. And, we play ER, so I'll be there. It's a varsity-only game. I don't know if they have a JV team. I think they just have a varsity team. But, they're in our bracket, C3.
Well, I look forward to hearing your thoughts on them and ER. Wednesday and Friday in Waterloo, there's a tournament this week. It's a Greece Odyssey. It's a boys-girls tournament. Greece Odyssey and playing Waterloo on Wednesday night. And then I can't remember the other team, but they're playing Marcus Whitman. And then they play again on Friday, winners and losers in a championship consolation game. So we'll get a look at Waterloo, who we've been talking a lot about so far this year. Thursday night, HAC at Romulus, South Seneca at Red Jacket, Bloomfield at Honeoye. Friday night, Bath Haverling at Penn Yan. Lyons at Mid-Lakes. Zach, you're playing a little. There's a little Wayne County Finger Lakes East challenge this year. You're not afraid to play anybody. Not that Mid-Lakes is like the class of the East recently, but it's nice to.
We like to play B schools. Yeah, B or A schools.
They're B1.
Yeah,
and you got Pelmac, like I said.
It's nice for us, like. When we scrimmage, we're going like the Finger Lakes East tour. Like we don't everybody's 20 minutes away from us. That's a B school. So if we can get them to play a game or two, then that's a bonus as well.
And then ER back in action on Friday night at Williamson, and then of course that triple header Saturday night FL1 Sports, 3:00 Geneva at Wilson, 5:00 Newark Livonia, and 7:00 Pelmac Victor. So. Zach, thanks for sitting in with us. Congratulations on the first win. We look forward to having you back up here again and following your team as they try to hold on to that number one spot in our power rankings all year. It's a little extra pressure now for you guys.
Yeah, we just try to win Friday.
And Verk, any parting shots? Any parting?
No, just glad that the season got started and look forward to the upcoming games.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the Upstate Hoops podcast on FingerLakes1.tv. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher.com. We'll be back live next Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you live on Saturday in Victor.